Hello, we are here for GRS FT, final end of the season at Qatar, and hello Appo. I've put the penguins away and preserved them, and I'll do what I'm supposed to for hopefully not much longer than an hour and 30 minutes. Hopefully shorter than an hour and 30 to be fair. Don't really fancy having this race go on for too long. Because an hour and 30 would probably mean we've had some sort of restart, since it normally takes about an hour and 50, an hour and 20, so yeah. Who was that? Actually, I don't even need to ask who that is based on the fact that he's here today. That's Mitch. We got a few F3 reserves in for today, actually an F4 reserve as well. Specifically, Jan, where in the list? Mitch, George Hawes, Callum Lyons, and the Manuel Alami from F4. Anyway, let's go on board with Mitch then. Oh, I'm expecting, I don't know, 1 minute 21.8, I guess, for a banker from Mitch. Something like that. Sounds about right. And I reckon pole's going to be 20.4 or 20.5, something like that. Would be a good pole time for F2, I think. Right, so final round of the season, we haven't really got much happening, to be honest, in F2. B fights lower down in the standings. Bill won the tier a few rounds back. As I'm board with Mitch then for the first lap of the day. Puts the battery on a bit further down the straight to make sure he can run out. Off the deploy, which interestingly runs out here with all the high speed corners. 5th for turn 1, I personally prefer 4th. Bit off the apex, gets that one nicely though, and now into the double right, heading up towards the slowest corner of the track. One of the only, shall we say, heavy braking zones, although you still keep it above 100 kilometers an hour, so it's not exactly a slow corner. As knocking the lap up nicely, Lapich has binned it or something. He's retired it and he's in the pit lane. Good run there. Overall decent sector 2, kept it nice and consistent and flat through the next 3 corners. Yes, you can get this one flat. Mitch lifts but still invalidates. Not ideal for him there, as he's going to go back to the pit lane. So we'll jump on board with Sam. This has gone purple in the middle sector. I mean, he had Mitch to beat. Yep, gets it flat nicely. Final bit, downshift, and has invalidated as well. So next up will be one of the Williams drivers, the Adam Bradshaw. Bradshaw's on Inters actually, quite interestingly. So George Hawes will be the first to complete a lap. Collision and Aston Martin, but their points will get to Mercedes, so not Mercedes Williams, so they'll just be swapped around. Anyways, sorry about that. Just sorting a quick thing. Paul Nadler, I'm expecting big things from Paul. Normally, very up to pace. 21-0. Didn't decide to do the. It was a bit of a trick at Qatar to save your battery deploy from running out. And is that's like you flick it off as you go through. Can we catch someone? These double rights, you flick it off just before and save a bit of the deploy. And then I like to put it on at the exit of this corner here. Costs you a slight bit, but it costs you a lot less than it does the running out on the straight. It's actually right. Theo Smith on a lap. Pearson backs off though, and is going to go into the pit lane here. As that's Callum Lyons, and had a very good performance himself in F3. Pole position, race win, and here he's going to start off with a P3 on his first lap in qualifying, although only 7 drivers have set a lap. They're not doing very well. Also, Lapage had a quali ban, that's why he's retired. Fantastic. I remember these things, I don't. I remember them too late, but well, at least I figured it out. Mitch is back on the lap again. He's the only driver out there on a lap. Everyone else probably on an in lap. So we'll see what the AlphaTauri can do. And I believe 54.5 at the middle sector split. Last time it was purple sector 1, but when you haven't set a lap time, that can be quite inconsistent, so I'm not going to believe that. But if it is, then fair play to Mitch. Drops it to 4th, misses the apex slightly, but the minimum speed is good. And it will be 54.2 this time range, so a bit quicker than last. Shift staying, trying to just get a time on the board there. Mitch is, and that is quite a good thing to do, to be fair. Just play it safe. Make sure you do get a time on the board, although, what is that for a track extend, Mitch? You can't be doing that. We'll go on board with Edvin then. Why not? Edvin most likely going to be in contention for pole today. He usually is. In the apex a bit, but minimum speed was still decent. And get closer to the apex there than Mitch. Allows him to get on the power just that tiny bit earlier, which is going to give him a bit of time. As Sam is 4. 53.4 for Edvin though. So let's see how this is going to go. Flat through there, completely fine for the Alpine. Into the final corner. Looks good. Attacks the corner fairly aggressively and should be provisional pole. Yeah, 20.8. Very strong lap there, and fair enough to him. Mitch is invalidated again. He's not having a good time. Someone who might be having a better time though is Roger Well, who is going to get that flat, no worries. Keeps it in 7th there, shifts down to 6th on the exit, maybe wasn't happy enough with how the corner went. Good minimum speed for the final corner, and someone's jumped up as George Hawes improving. And it's just ahead of Roger Well on lap time at the moment, as Roger Well goes P7. So we got George Palmer has switched the battery off, so he's almost done. Oh no, it's still on. I'm a bit confused then. Based on that sector time, I don't think this is a proper push lap, so we'll go for Adam Bradshaw instead, who is 4 seconds up, and on for a good time here if he can just get this one range without invalidating, and attacking that very nicely, and again using all of the track space available. Very nice final sector from the driver reserving in Williams today. And now up to the line for Adam Bradshaw. It's going to be 28.69, 100th off Edvin, as Paul Matler's back out there again. And that looks very nice from Paul indeed. Paul could definitely be in contention for pole, as middle sector split, he's 4.5 tenths up, so I can only assume that Paul Matler's going to take provisional pole here. It looks good. And again, just the final corner to go, doesn't want to carry too much speed, otherwise he'll run off track, and gets it pretty good. Overall, decent last corner, and up to line. I think that's going to be provisional pole, though it's not. So I actually lost time in the final sector. To be fair, it's quite difficult to see here, to be honest. The slight time differences. The track's so fast, it's fairly difficult to keep up, as we have Jan here in the Red Bull, who is nearly 6 tenths up. Just to get all of them flat. Drops it to 6th off the apex a bit, but not going to cost him too much. As around the final corner, short shifts to 5th and keeps it within track limit, so should be all good for a good improvement up to P9. So fair enough. Bayard also improving by 6 tenths, so looking to get himself potentially even to the top 5. And good line from Bayard through the final corner. And that's going to be a 21.4, 5th place on the nose, so I should get that one right. Is Manuel on the lap? No, I think see Iron's on a lap in the hat. And in the 53s for the middle sector. A couple tenths off the fastest we've seen, bit of a lift there. And attacks that corner fairly aggressively. Final corner now. Maybe not. Not really one of the best we've seen today. Missed the apex, lower minimum speed than others there as well. Didn't quite get the rotation he would have liked in 5th, but it's going to be P6, and very close between 5th and 7th place specifically. Just 13,000 separating those drivers. As can Mitch get a lap on the board? It looks like he actually might. As final corner looks good, but had a bit of a snap as he was exiting, so that's going to cost him. But it is going to be a 21.5 for Mitch, and beats Callum Lyons by 6 thousandths of a second, as Callum has invalidated. So he'll probably go back to the pit lane on a fresh set and go again, as first driver 8 for the final run is Apo. Getting himself out the way early. I think everyone will start leaving the pits within the next minute, so he might just make it before a massive rush of cars will come flooding out the pit lane. We'll just have to wait and see as he approaches the start of the lap now. But let's see what Apo can do. Just interested to see what people's top speed is like. 309 actually at the end there. Fifth gear turn 1. Looks good. And again, looks good. Keeping it in higher gears, just trying to get a nice, consistent, stable lap in. As speaking about 57th being close, look at 8th to 10th, it's even closer. 9 phases separating those drivers as Apo finds a 10th in the first sector, so good start. But obviously, he'll be looking for more throughout the lap. As up to 7th, then down to 4th, and should see a little bit of improvement, I guess, in the middle sector. There's I think actually a bit slower. He's lost some time there, so it's going to be all about the end of the lap here, attacking every bit, and Apo's invalidated. However, he will have time for a cool down lap, and to go again. As he actually goes to the pit lane, so he's not going to have time. But first on lap will be George Parr, who's going to have a lot of traffic here. This could be a bit of an issue, I can't lie. Into turn 1, down to 5th. Just to hook it up quite nicely. Down to 4th then. There's time but not enough fuel. Alright. All that Ferrari's on the racing line. Notice him last moment there. Wouldn't know what I got blocked by his teammate. But he's alright. Not blocked. But there's 5 cars up ahead all on top of each other. That could be the demise of this. There's 2 groups of 5 actually, quite interestingly enough. I'm not sure what's going on specifically, but I'm hoping George does not get blocked here. As the first McLaren has gotten out the way, so has the second one. That's 2 cars out the way. Alfa Romeo dives off track last second. Alpine has the Alpine seen. The Alpine has not seen and has completely taken George out of the session. That would have been Callum Lyons. And that's a quali ban if I've ever seen one. And that's going to, by the way, that'll be for Rain 1 next season. For your information, we carry penalty points and any bans over, so yes, Callum Lyons will maybe qualifying banned for Rain 1 next season, most likely, based on what's just happened there. He moved out the way and then just swerves back into him, so yeah, no, that's a bit silly. As Manuel has invalidated. Is that AlphaTauri on my lap? I would guess so. And I've guessed correctly, it's Blake. He's completely messed the apex on the final corner there. Is this going to be an improvement? If he was only improving a bit, then might not be. But it is, and it's 10.5 up to P5 for Blake. As George Hawes 3 tenths up in the Williams. Drops it to 4th, gets very on the inside curve there. What time would it be for the F3 driver reserving up? P4, very respectable. Adam Bradshaw, can he take provisional pole for now? And he does, 20.6, that's very fast. But Edvin's improving by 2.5 tenths. If he finds even more time, this could be quite a convincing pole, but it's not. Adam Bradshaw currently on pole. Paul Nuttler's not improving, as Callum Lyons stays P11. Sansham took to P4 there. Paul Nuttler goes fastest. He's found 4 tenths in the final sector. Okay. Right. How's he done that then? And I don't know what Harry's doing. Come on, just get to the line. Right, so Paul Matler takes pole position. Paul's kicked his form right back into shape at the end of the season. Has been driving very well, and the top three really close here. Adam Bradshaw and Edvin right behind him. As it'll be a full Swedish second row with Sam there as well. George Horse, good performance from the F3 driver. Very well done from him. Roger Bell joins him on the third row. Theo Smith and Blake on the fourth. Ian Ravenbayard on the fifth, with Apo and Mitch on the sixth row. Callum Lyons and Manuel Alami on the seventh row. Jan Nader and George Brown on the eighth. Harry Solwick Moore and Quill not saying a lap on the ninth, and then Qualiban Lapage in last. Right, let's see what's going to happen here. Race will probably be starting in just a few moments. 19 cars on the grid. How many do you think are going to finish? Who do you think's going to come out on top? Get your predictions in the chat if you fancy it, and we'll have a read of some of those if they are them. Anyways, lights coming on now, and it's 5 red lights here in Qatar, and we are away. As a good start there from Adam Bradshaw, it looked like, and he's going to be alongside Paul Madler into turn 1. As let's see what's going to happen in turn 1. A bit of contact there with one of the Mercedes, a Haas ghosting. Well, to be honest, less carnage than I thought, as Adam Bradshaw has taken the lead of the race, and it's all going to be very close in these the first few laps of this race. I already know what this is like. George Hall's down the inside there. And it's now potentially under threat from 2 cars. So let's get the tyres up, mediums and hards all round. Wouldn't have expected softs. It would be a bit mental going for that. As Edvin's overtaken by Sam. Sam looking aggressive here on the medium tyres. Paul Natler struggling on the hards. This probably explains the start off the line, as Sam just completely shoves Edvin off the track there. And, not showing his fellow countrymen any justice, and that's 3-second penalty already for 2 drivers, Callum Lyons and Edvin. So that's both Alpines already with a penalty. This is going to be carnage. And there's yellow flags. Harry Swanwick Moore is round. Seems to be struggling a bit. Could have been contact though. Not sure particularly what it would have been for, as Quill's already up to P10. Not surprised. That is sums Quill up pretty well. Blake in the Alpha Tower is having a great start on the hard tyres in 4th place. And is looking to make that a podium position, but it's not going to send anything stupid on Sam. No point wasting your race on lap 1, as Theo Smith down the inside of Apo there. Will swap to the outside, but Apo is ahead for the corner, and will defend 9th place for now, as not 9th place, 10th place, sorry, as Quill's in 9th. They're already up 9 positions on the back of the grid. I won't be surprised if they make that a few more within the next lap or 2. As here comes Edvin down the inside of Blake. And the medium tries trying to recover something. If we're getting pushed off track, there'll be definitely warnings removed there. As Sam didn't really have any intention of leaving any space for Edvin, it seemed. As Quill already quite aggressive. Used 20% of the battery, which isn't honestly too much. Battery doesn't regenerate here at Qatar very well at all. And do have to overfuel quite a bit, so I'll be interested to see if anyone's going to succumb to the a lack of fuel in their car. Callum Lyons plenty in plus 4 laps, as Adam Bradshaw sets the fastest lap of the race as we look at Callum Lyons here, trying to make a few moves further up as well, but this is the battle we're focused on currently, as the Alpine driver not close enough, and will stay where he is for now. Bayode and Rogerwell scrapping currently for 6th place. Bayode's not going to try anything down the inside there. Rogerwell covers up any ideas Bayode may have had, although it's a really dodgy overtaking spot, to be honest. I don't know why you bother trying. So there goes Quill down the inside, P8 already for Quill. And they are on a mission. They're not, to be honest, not lost too much time, probably to the leaders. But 10 places gained in 2.5 laps is about what I expected, to be honest, from Quill. They are very good at picking their way through traffic, and well, if Quill had done qualifying, they would have been, let's be honest, most likely front row. Well, they would have at least been close to the front three. Maybe they haven't had the best qualifying this season, however they've improved their overall craft a lot, and explains a lot why they've won the title by a lot of points. There's very little room left by Bayode, leaving just enough for Quill to stay with 2 tyres on the track, although it's advised to leave a car's width on the racing surface, so I wouldn't really classify that car's width on the racing surface, but it is just a bit hard racing, to be fair. No one wants to let someone through without giving them a hard time, unless it's going to cost them strategically, because that's not what you do in racing. You don't just look behind you and wave the person by and roll out a red carpet for them, as Adam Bradshaw looks to have made a mistake somewhere, as Paul Nadler is right on the scene already. Paul with only 2 laps extra fuel, so that's going to be danger zone towards the end if there's no safety cars. As Callum Lyons is now on 6 seconds of penalties and there's yellow flags. Callum Lyons is out the race, and it's a VSC, so people can save fuel. That's good. Bit of a wretched race from Callum. Committed a murder on a Ferrari in qualifying by swerving on the racing line, and then picked up a few penalties early on and has finished the race in the wall. So let's see, pretty much all that's happened there, as maybe after the mistake gives Adam Bradshaw a bit of time to breathe and just not worry too much about the cars behind us. We are racing once again, no drive-through penalties, that's what we like to see, no one picking up any of those. As well, let's see what's going on here. With Edwin, as his yellow flags once again, that looks to be George Parr in the Ferrari, slowing down. I didn't fully stop though, so maybe a bit of a half spin. As does Apo? Yeah, Apo's missing an end plate. I was going to say he's all over the place. As, I think Mitch is on 6 seconds already. Yeah. The answer would be that is correct. Hold on, there we go. Actually, no, I want the tyre detail. Where's the tyre detail? Okay, there it is. Quill up to P6, so they've got past pretty much everyone they would have been able to just get with the DRS early on here, and then they're going to have to carve into the time of the drivers ahead. 6/10 specifically up to Blake, as almost running wide off the track and almost lost the car as well, but they are just about alright there. You don't want to pick up too many track limit warnings here, as it can be quite brutal for penalties. That's something certainly to be careful of. As front three building up a bit of a gap to Sam behind now. So there's yellow flags, and Mitch has also caused yellow flags with a takeout on a McLaren there. That was a bit silly, Mitch. It's not how you gain places by punting people round. There's Jan here. No close to the back of the AlphaTauri driver. After the collision with Theo Smith, as Mayota's become the next driver to pick up a penalty. And Edvin's up into P2 here on the medium tyres, gets past Paul Matler on the hards, and Paul's doing a cracking job now, I will say. So there is the move for Jan. Jan's got a bit of a gap after this, but has the opportunity to try and gain that now. As the front three continue to slowly build the gap, although if they do get their elbows out a bit in a couple laps time, then Sam could easily be brought back into the fight, as I'm gonna, alongside Blake, Quill, and Rogerwell, who are all just waiting around at the moment. As Adam Bradshaw, not again. And a season that has just been awful for him. He's had no luck, and a few mistakes here and there from himself haven't helped him either. And the one race where he's clean running at the front, got some good drivers around him to race with for the race lead, and a mistake from himself has cost him once again here, unfortunately, and that's yeah, quite sad to see. But he's still in the race this time. And it looks like he's not got damage, so at least he has a chance to keep going as Edvin and Paul swap places again. And that is the Alpine driver into the lead of the race, but does obviously have a time penalty. But he didn't really pick up any warnings throughout the race. Could probably be removed as Manuel sliding all over the place there. I'm not sure if there was contact with Mitch when they were side by side, or not enough room left as Mitch seems to be on a bit of a murder mission in this race. F3 not really showing their quality with driving into people. That's not really what you want to do, reserving up into it here. I'll say that much, as the penalty points do go on your licence, and can certainly affect you, as Roger has disconnected. Paul Matler also has some lag there. Just the average PlayStation problems, to be honest. I will get back to inviting Roger because obviously we don't really want people disconnecting, but it seems like pretty much the whole of PS just lagged, which I'm not surprised. Callum Lyons leaves the session as well, or get the race though. Paul will stay in DRS and has stayed in the session. I'm trying to put us on PlayStation, Manuel as well, Theo Smith and Apo, so it's a shame for Rogerwell. Rogerwell's running good in this race. I have invited them, so hopefully they can get back in the session. As George straight past, and Mitch and Jan side by side, and Mitch all out of shape there in this fight. 4P9, and cuts the inside. Theo Smith picks up a penalty. Maybe not a very smart decision to try and get alongside, as Roger was back in the session. The invite has worked then. We're being efficient, that's good. Off track there for Jan, that is going to be a warning. And if it's not, then that can be reported by the drivers to get that warning correctly applied. As again, PlayStation in general just seems to be all over the place right now. So for anyone asking next season, wise crossplay and stuff being effective, then there you go. Roger was just taking over the car. I know that by the fact that the leaderboard on the left is just flashed. It does that quite interestingly. Just one random thing I've picked up on from the amount of times we've had to have people most of the time on PlayStation rejoin the session because, like I've said, the just connection overall and problems with PS is just absolutely awful as Jan and Mitch side by side. Mitch again all out of shape, but keeps a position just ahead of Jan, and that's invited Manuel for a look. And man, well, he's taken that chance, as that was such a terrible joke. I apologise, that was awful. Click off the stream if I were you, to be honest. Anyways, going to have a slight set on Mitch next, who does have a few penalties. As I was thinking it was an overtake there. George Part spinning round. I think he's trying no assists for this race. I'm pretty sure. So I mean, I guess that makes sense. As at the front, Edwin and Paul pretty much where they have been. Edwin doesn't really have too much of the battery to play with. There's yellow flags, George Parr again, and we're going to see him Eve from Paul Adler into the lead, and Edwin's not really going to be able to fight that one. As Quill now on the back of Blake and Sam, and they've got a good battery reserve saved up. Blake is almost below 10%. Sam's got 60, so running quite well. Still got the leaders in sight, so if anything does occur further on, then Sam is in a golden spot here, especially time penalty for track limits for Paul Matler or anything could help him as well. As at the moment, about a third of the drivers left in. Well, actually, exactly a third of the drivers left in have time penalties. So, yeah. We see another swap for the lead as Blake picks up a penalty. Not ideal to do when running in 4th place. As there's yellow flags, that's George Parr once again. Third time in the last 2 laps, I believe, as then the inside for Edwin, and that is move completed. Back for the lead of the race, just swapping position each lap. Drivers are able to follow quite closely at Qatar, to be fair. The final sector does really help with that, as you get a good slipstream. Being behind a driver for the triple right, and that allows you to get right up to the back of them. You do see racing on that one straight, and whatever criminal moves people want to try elsewhere, which is, believe me, a lot more than you would think you'd see. I would point out specific corners where people might be getting track limit penalties. However, I genuinely think it could be pretty much anywhere, to be honest. Push the limits too much in a lot of different places you can pick up penalties. So that is one thing to note. As here we go. He's Paul Matler close enough, he's not using battery, so I think Paul's just going to sit behind. And, yeah, I don't think he's interested in the move at the moment. Someone who is interested in the move is Quill, and it's going to be a double overtake here, I reckon. Into turn 1. And that is Quill onto the podium. And off they go. To build a bit of distance as Adam Bradshaw back up to P9 now, ahead of Manuel, has had to navigate a bit of traffic to get back up to where he wants to be. George Paul with a penalty, so we are almost now at half of the grid. And it's just normally what you see at Qatar, to be fair, and we've got a winner, and that is Jan Nader making it after rugby penalties as George Park goes to the pit lane and retires from the session. So we're down to 17, and of those 17, 8 drivers have penalties. Does that make it 9? No, that's Harry picking up an extra 3 and has binned it. Safety car. Well. Will dives in, Sam dives in. Blake did not react fast enough, or maybe they were already pitting. If they were, then it's a bit sad for them, because the, I'll tell you something, the undercut here, actually wait, no, because the safety car's there. So Quill and Sam, the front 3 are going to lose so many places here, actually. That is, let me put it one way, catastrophic for these 3. They could lose a whole host of positions here, and this is going to change the race up a lot, I'll say that much. This is going to cause absolute chaos, carnage, all of that. So, thanks Harry. Might have given me a bit extra work to do on stewarding. Not sure. Although actually, no, there won't be a delta either unless the game's being stupid, because they have caught the safety car. And the safety car does like to go very slow. And hopefully no one tries overtaking it going into the pit lane, because you're not allowed to do that. So if anyone is going into the pits, I'd advise that they take their time with it and be careful. Even though these 3 will want to get in the pits immediately, they could all end up disqualified if they jump the gun and try to just get in the pit lane too quickly. So hopefully they don't do that. As I don't think they really have a choice whether to box or not. I mean, regardless, they're going to lose positions and have to box. I mean, one of them could try to stay and bank on a safety car, but you're going to get swamped by absolutely everyone. And all 3 of them are in. Racing into the pit lane they go. So, interested to see where they are going to rejoin in this race. But I think it's going to be outside the top 10 for all of them, to be honest. So Quill will lead, Sam P2, George Hawes P3. First race we've actually had any F3 drivers in F2, because the attendance has been enough for every other race this season, which filled in today. We could show like 12 or 13, so that's interesting. And well, we've got half the race to go, and Paul, Edwin and Blake are now 12th, 13th and 14th, as Rogerwell has quote said, "This game is shit," which I perfectly agree. I mean, I agree with that fantastically, to be honest. I mean, if I tried to put those words in a better way, I don't think I could. It's just dodgy. There you go. It's just dodgy. What's going on here? Right, so Bayo's just overtaken on the safety car. I really hope that that wasn't because of a message that said you can now overtake him. A host is allowing the pass. If so, then Bayode has got a penalty. If if George was just off the track for no reason, then Bayode is fine. As Bayode is trying to let George back through. Oh, is he? He might pick a warning if he does. I'd just let him through on this straight after the restart. As we are going in. And, you know, Bayode just overtakes. Okay, I'm not sure. Anyways, Sam here, close to quit off the recycle, has got a good gap, and they're just going to use their battery to make sure no one gets close or thinks about a move, as Bayode is letting George through, so I will not be penalising that if I don't have to, although Bayode has now hit George and gained the position back, so yeah, the punt to pass is an ideal. Bayode off the track there as well as yeah, let's just say carnage unfolding here. As Alfa Romeo down the inside, that's Manuel. Mitch trying to make a move in all of this. This is going to be chaos into this next corner. If I were Adam Bradshaw, I would be thinking, just let these guys take each other out, because it could happen. Oh, and there's Bayode off the track. They're going to be 3 wide if Bayode rejoins here. And yeah, that was predictable. That was quite predictable, just looking ahead. And I don't think Bayode was aware that it was T wide alongside. Yeah, a bit of an unsafe rejoin, you can say. That's absolute chaos is an understatement, and my lack of thinking of any better words to describe this is getting the better of me, as here we go once again. This could, I don't even know what's going to happen here. You got everything going on behind as well. And that is the leaders of the race, as here goes George Hall's around the outside. Is Bradshaw going to try hang it in there as well? He is, but not fully alongside yellow flags. That is Blake in the AlphaTauri, as here we go into turns 4 and 5 as there's contact behind Bayode off, Manuel off. Edwin says thank you very much, swoops through there, and that is brilliant for Edwin. Already back up into P6, and Paul Matlet bogged down in this. Blake now down in 16th as chaos really isn't shooing, as Paul Matler here just looking for a move. He's got to get a move on if he wants to get himself back into this. The safety car is not favoured him whatsoever. It's not favoured any of the 3 who were forced to stay. They've been thrown in the deep end of I don't even know what you can call this. I mean, it's the deep end. Oh, Edwin's gone. Oh, just after I was praising him and all, and he's gone round. As Bayode picks up another penalty there, Manuel makes the move. Paul Mantler's here as well, but these two are using all their battery, depleting everything they've got to just fight for position at the moment. And it's going to be Bayode being ahead for now. As further back, Jan push off track slightly, Edwin retires in the pit lane. As we're down to 15, Manuel lags back, and that's going to put Bayode back ahead, maybe Manuel. Oh, I don't even know what's going on there. Paul Matler might try a move. Paul Matler will try a move. Paul Matler, has he got the move? I'm not sure. They're still side by side. Let's go back with Theo just to see this from behind. As here comes Theo Smith down the inside on Bayode. Cuts the corner completely, but Bayode's off on the outside. And Lepage trying to switch back, but gets tagged by Jan, and they're both round. And that's going to be both of those two out of this fight. As Theo trying to get a move on. Bayode has been contacted. Bayode is flying into the gravel. And this has been I'll say a traumatic few laps for Bayard. He's had a lot going on around him. People are going absolutely mental in this restart, and he's just been stuck in the thick of it. I feel kind of bad, to be honest. I know he's got a 10 seconds for no reason. And Adam Bradshaw's up to P4, but he's got 5 seconds to the cars ahead. But he's on hard, so podium position I'd say is achievable here. The hards will be better than the mediums at the end. The mediums will start to drop off quite badly. As Paul Natler's currently P7 and the highest out of anyone he pitted. We've currently got Blake already back to 11th, Paul Nadler 7th, and Edvin out the race. This is unbelievable. Someone's disconnected. Who was that? I need to go and find who that was in case they need to fight. It was Bayard who has retired in the pit lane. So Sam looking to put pressure on Quill. Well, Sam actually not really making a move at the moment, doesn't fancy it. I think Sam's just playing the long game. Remembers what happened with Quill in Vegas, with Quill playing the long game. That was the first rain of the season, this is the last rain of the season. A sandwich for a 1-2 between those is, here goes Apo down the inside. And then proceeds to cut the corner. That sums up Apo quite well, I'd say, to be honest. Good moments and bad moments in there. Mixture of both. There's long laps to go after this one is complete. This race isn't over. Got a good fight for the lead unfolding, I'm sure, as Sam's saving up the battery, using little bits here and there, as Jan picks up a 3-second time penalty. Interestingly, we've now only got 7 people with penalties left running in the race, so, I mean, you know, shows a lot. That one's better leaving the session. Who left the session? Oh, I don't even know. Sam just staying behind, making a move, having a bit of fun with it. Right. Well, that is in the GRS of Adam Bradshaw here. As those two are chasing after the podium. I'm hoping for Adam Bradshaw that he can get a podium. I think that's could be something for him this season at least. I mean, he qualified in a place that would have put him on for a podium. Could have had again a much better race, but to be honest, Sam deciding to make the move now as Manuel has had a bit of a spin further back, but Sam takes the lead of the race here. However, is on a massive battery deficit to Quill. It's Quill's 20% ahead, so Sam will have to be smart with his usage, is the best way to put it. Can't afford to waste anything. There we go, Mitch. Looking for a move down the inside on Jan. And Jan's gone off the track. And Mitch is going for a bit of a switchback off the exit, but sliding all over the place and can't get that one done. It's, bit of a track extension from Adam Bradshaw there. He hasn't got a penalty yet, so there you go. Interestingly, none of the top 6 currently have penalties, although Sam's got the situation that occurred with Edvin at the start, so that'll probably be looked into, to be honest. I'm picking up another 3, but penalties to people have. Couple 6s, 2 3s and a 9, or 2 9s actually, at the back from Mitch and Blake. Theo, and penalties is Manuel and Blake. Blake diving through the middle there. Lovely move. Up to P9. Absolutely not where he would have wanted to be, and it's unfortunate for him, but it's just how things go sometimes. There's Apo up to P7 there. And Theo Swift's already half a lap under on fuel, so Theo Swift's not making the end of the race. Sam's got a lap left. Quill has about 3/4 of a lap. That'll be enough. Rogerwell might be in a spot above it. Just interested in who's struggling with fuel. Apo is certainly struggling with fuel. Theo Smith isn't in a great place. Blake's not in a great place. Manuel's okay. Iron Rav is okay. Same with Lapid, same with Mitch. Jan is also okay. So a few people potentially run that here. So it's something to look out for. Theo Smith will be the first to go, for certain. I'm trying to save fuel, but unfortunately you can't really do that at Qatar without losing just an unreasonable amount of time, to be honest. You can see the lift and coast. If I were Blake, down the inside this next corner, because it's going to be a lift and a coast. It's not actually. Never mind, I've read the book wrong on that one. Skipped a couple pages in that narrative. As Quill is going to chill. But will they overtake it somewhere? I don't know. There's Theo Smith down to P10. Our fuel situation is not ideal. And I think Phil will be hoping that there's quite a few people in the same situation, which, to be fair, there's not anyone with as low fuel, but there are a few people who could run out, as Theo Smith has gone off the track and I think might be retiring in the pit lane. Or might go for a fastest lap attempt to grab that point. Iron Rav speeds in the pit lane. Any damage? Could have been contact with Iron. He's getting the new front wing, so yeah. Definitely a possibility there. As Theo Smith retires in the pit lane. Down to 13 runners. 2 of those have been crashes, I believe, and the rest retires in the pit lane. As Sam's got 80% battery, but Quill's on 100. And Paul Natler's here on the back of Roger Well there. There's his yellow flags, that is Mitch. And he's not had a great one, to be fair, in terms of incidents with other drivers, and also just a bit of everything. Not really driving great. It's going to be his first penalty points of the season, most likely. We're just going to report some of the stuff he has to. Specifically the collision with Theo Smith, and I believe he forced someone off earlier on as well. Can't quite remember who. As Paul Matler here, I think is going to go for me for the podium. Rogerwell maybe not looking to defend it right this second, but this does help Rogerwell a lot. Rogerwell now does have the chance to just sit in DRS and save a bit of fuel behind the McLaren, because the fuel saving will be better being behind the McLaren, but Rogerwell needs to make sure not to back off too much, otherwise I might drop out of DRS, so that's always something to think about. And Adam Bradshaw could be a factor as well. Is Mitch retiring in the pit lane, or did he just speed in and going for a fastest lap or something? No, Mitch will be a fastest lap. He doesn't retire in the pits, usually anyway. Rogerwell should get a good benefit here of slipstream, also using some of the battery. And naturally gain a bit. Drops into 6th though. Paul seemingly keeping that either in 7th or just with the shift down and flat. And just using the shift down rotation as Jan picks up another 3 seconds. Rogerwell has magically dispersed 6% of his battery as Paul's flashing and has no battery. Rogerwell can also use this tactically to lift and coast, which is, I'm sure, what he's happy to do. As Sam with 75%, Quill still on 100. So we'll have to see. Oh, this is gonna finish. Is Apo not sending a move? That is fantastic, Apo. You know, fair play to Apo. The race where there's been this many incidents, so I don't think he's been a single one of them. Might have some time penalties, but Apo choosing to keep it safe now towards the end of the season. But he's running out of fuel, and Sam's got a time penalty. That's going to be 3 seconds added onto his time at the end of the race. Will is now chilling, and Sam moved back to the line, and then moved again, and then back to the line again. So if you want something to report, Quill, then there you go. There's Jan. How many penalties has Jan got? No, there's a 15. There's 2 14s. A Sam. Interestingly, goes for a move on the inside there, as I've swapped it on person. As Arjen Ravenay makes that 17. Bit of a competition at the back there in the F2 Qatar GP Penalties Championship. 15 v 17 v 14. Good fight that, as Arjen Rav retires in the pit lane after his fastest lap attempt. So there you go. There's that gap to Paul Natler's closing. He's hungry. Paul Natler senses the 3-second time penalty, and his pace has gone up by a few tenths a lap at least. As here we go on to the final lap, and Quill just lifting off on the straight. They're just having fun with this. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see what Quill's doing here. They seem to just be messing around with this one a bit, as they did. They have all the battery in the world. Sam's got 20%. As Blake makes a move, and Manuel makes a move, and Adam Bradshaw picks up a penalty, but he's not really at risk of losing anything from that. Zappo also picks up a penalty. He was already going to get passed by Lapage anyway, but that does mean they go over to L finishes ahead of Manuel, and they will not finish ahead of Manuel. As Quill now is going to use absolutely every bit of the battery, and this is just going to be, yeah, quite interesting. I think Quill's just going to get Sam on the final straight. We're going to be right behind before that. And, yep, nice 3 temps, 50% battery for the final straight, just the normal. Oh, okay. Bit of a mistake from Quill, so they're not going to win this one on track, or are they? No, they're not. Sam wins it on track, just about. Bar penalties. Quill will win. Pull that by second. Sam leads it out by 10.5. Roger P4. Adam Rogers finished 5th. Williams 5-6, although that will be converted into a 1-5. And George Wills will be his constructors points over to Aston, as Adam Rogers leaves the section, but you know, he was starting the race. So. Yeah, just one of them weird ones where it's just like, nah, he didn't finish the race, but he did. Well, yeah, that concludes this season in FT. It's been a bit of a mess. Quill wins the championship in dominating fashion, and overall, yeah, there's been a lot that's happened to commentate over. A lot to steward, a lot just with the tier happening. The only thing this tier has done good at is attendance, to be fair. We haven't had to bring in reserves till the final race, and we only had one fairly lower one. Other than that, it's been mostly 17s, 18s, 90s, a couple of 20s. So fair enough term for that, but yeah. And it's going to be the end of this season. Obviously with a different format. FT won't exactly just be F2 next season. So whatever format it's in, well, I'm sure I'll see. I probably won't personally see you there, but you'll have some commentator to see there. And yeah, here's your results. And we've broke the race director because there's too many incidents. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to say well done to Quill for getting no penalties. We're going to go in here, and Paul Natler has 1 warning. Sam got 1 on lap 1. Sam got 4. Few for Roger, well I assume one of them's a collision based on not getting a penalty. Hoping the thing actually worked for someone else. Well, I think I only really need it for the drivers who finished the race, to be honest. So, I mean, there you go, pretty much. Oh my, that's a lot. 3 warnings there on 1 lap I've seen. And then Adam Bradshaw will need his as well, just in case. Penalty on the last lap, but I don't know if that's going to get removed or need to be removed or anything, so... There you go. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1 title decider. Myself and Calais will be fighting that one out, so make sure to tune in for that one. Should be good. But yeah.